So, hello everyone out in Ashland. This is Michael Herbert, our town manager here. And I just wanted to start providing little brief updates on coronavirus and how we're addressing it here in Ashland. And I don't anticipate doing these every day, but I do plan on doing them regularly, and hopefully you'll find it useful. Um, Today I just want to talk a little bit about the COVID-19 situation, what my approach is to handling it, and what we have done so far, and how you can get more information on what we're doing here and what you can do at home to help us get through this situation. And I think we can all agree this is really an unprecedented situation that we're facing right now on a number of different fronts. And at first, I just want to acknowledge that I know there's a lot of fear, and I know there's a lot of anxiety about what's going to happen now and in the future. I know people are worried about their health and safety. I know people are worried about their economic situation of both themselves as individuals and families, and then also as businesses. And many of you are probably trying to figure out what you're going to do with your kids 24 hours a day as, again, we go through this unprecedented situation. My approach to this pandemic has been really, first, I want to determine how we as a community can slow the spread of coronavirus in town, amongst the town itself, and then also amongst our employees. It's very, very important to flatten that curve and to ensure that we're doing everything that we can to make sure that this thing doesn't spread unnecessarily. Second, and this is kind of happening concurrently, is making sure that all essential programs and services are still being offered to the extent that it's practical. Again, this is an ever fluid situation, and so things will change. Third is really more the long term. We're going to start assessing what the impacts are financially and to our health and well-being, and actually to our quality of life on our nation, our state, and our community. Again, this is starting to look at more of the long-term impacts. And then finally is how are we going to make a plan to address those long-term impacts as well. That's probably going to be a few months down the road. I'll just say that right now. First, I just want to give you an update on what our COVID-19 situation here is in town. I'm here to tell you that as of today, and it's a little after 3:30, on Thursday, we have 2 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Ashland. So what does that mean for people? I know a lot of people were asking that after the first confirmed case yesterday. So what happens is once we are notified through what's known as our MAVEN database, it's a statewide database, that we have a confirmed case, we then, through our local Board of Health, contact that person and start doing an investigation of how that person might have been exposed and who they've been in contact with over the last 14 days. And from that information, we then go on to contact their close contacts, and it rolls on from there. Again, we're trying to determine where this has spread from and where it could have spread to in the time that the person was not tested and they had actually contracted it. And I should really reiterate that if you have any symptoms, what you should be doing is you should be calling your primary care physician and following their instructions on what to do. And I'm going to ask that if you do get tested, that you call our local Board of Health and let them know that you have been tested, just so they have it on their radar screen. I think that's very, very important. But even though we only have 2 confirmed cases, I think it's also really important for everybody to realize that we should all act as if we're contagious. We should all be acting as if we have the COVID-19 virus and take actions appropriately. That means practicing social distancing. It means washing your hands regularly. Just have that mindset as you're going throughout the day. Our crack team here in Town Hall has put together a couple of great resources for information. First is we have a dedicated web page for coronavirus. If you go to the Ashland Mass homepage, that's ashlandmass.com, you'll see a big red button at the top that says coronavirus info. You click on that and it'll take you to a web page that has links to all of my communications, some of the superintendent's communications, a lot of business info and how businesses can be helped, and also a lot of other info about health and safety, things of that nature on that website. We also have a dedicated coronavirus hotline for people who have questions that are not general government questions, but they are not emergencies. So feel free to give us a call there. It's staffed during regular working hours, and that number is 508-532-7900. We also have a website, an email that we're utilizing. It's covid19@ashlandmass.com. And if you reach out to us that way, if we don't have the answer right away, hopefully we can get it for you very, very soon. So moving on to what is open, from a townwide operational standpoint, what is happening right now. So we have closed all of the municipal buildings effective this past Monday. They're still closed. We do have staff, though, still in the building. So if you have general government questions, please call the appropriate department, and hopefully we'll be able to help you. Our police, fire, DPW, they are still responding as they always have and always will. I just ask that if you do call, that you let them know, you let the dispatcher know if you have or exhibiting any symptoms like flu-like symptoms or cold symptoms. It will not affect their response. It just lets them take a few more precautions. Payments can still be made through the drop box outside of Town Hall. Also, in response to this, we have waived all online bank fees and charges, or we are absorbing them. So really to encourage you to pay online as much as you can. Our recreation department is actually starting to develop programs that you can do at home. The first one has actually been started. Kelly Rund, she has put together a scavenger hunt at the state park that you do with your family, not with a number of other families. And I expect more programming like that to happen in the future. Our library is actually, if you've reserved books at the library, you now have the opportunity to go pick them up. So you just drive to the library, one of our library staff members will come outside and actually drop it off in your trunk. And I think the library will be putting together programs that they could do virtually or what you can do at home, and we'll be providing that info fairly soon. Just want to reiterate, these situations are very, very fluid. They might change from day to day, so just make sure you follow along with us on our social media pages or my newsletter, and we'll try to let you know about those as soon as possible. We also have the Restaurant and Resident Relief Fund. This coronavirus has taken a big impact on people's food security and then also the business end of our restaurants. And in order to try to address those, we've partnered with the Ashland Emergency Fund to really purchase food from the restaurants to provide it to families who have a need for food in our community. I cannot impress upon you enough how important the emergency fund, Ashland Emergency Fund, is going to be now and in the future for this community. So I would encourage you to go to their website and donate. And then finally, I just want to talk a little bit about the overall picture here in our country. So I firmly believe that in any crisis management situation, the most important thing is coordinated and accurate information. And again, this is something that hasn't been faced before, so all of us at all levels of government have been kind of caught off guard. There's no script, there's no playbook for us to follow. We're literally writing it right now. And at the beginning, I think everybody could see that those efforts amongst federal, state, and local government was a little bit disjointed. I'm pleased to see that that is now changing. We're starting to see more communication and coordination amongst those entities, and I think that's getting stronger every day. The state legislature passed a $15 million fund for COVID-19. The first set of funding, $5 million of that funding has been released to local boards of health so they can better assess and then also address the response of COVID-19. Also want to say the governor and the legislature They've been working really well together and putting together a set of relief packages. There's been a small business loan fund. Some of the red tape surrounding unemployment has been cut, so people who need unemployment benefits, they should be able to get those easier. And then a number of reforms have been proposed, and I believe debated today in the legislature, on how to loosen up again some of the red tape and the statutory requirements regarding town business, so things like town meetings and elections. And for those of you that have been following what's happening at the federal level, there is a significant relief package that is being debated. We'll see what shape that comes in its final form, and I'm hopeful and I'm confident that it will address the things that need to be addressed and at a sufficient level. So that's really where it seems like we are on the state and federal level as well. I would encourage you to reach out to our legislative delegation, which is at the state level. It's Senate President Spilka and Representative Lewis, and follow along with them to see what information they have, and then also Congresswoman Clark and in the U.S. Congress. So right now that's about it for this first update. Again, I hope it's been helpful. I'll continue to do these. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If I don't have the answer, I can find somebody who does, hopefully, or utilize our coronavirus hotline and email address, and we can get you the answer that way. So hope everybody is safe, hope everybody is healthy. I want to say thanks to our town hall staff, town employees. They've just been absolutely wonderful during this whole situation. Actually been pretty remarkable. So you're in good hands with the people that are working for you right now. And so that's about it. I will see you again soon, and again, hope everybody is well.